I appreciate the comment that you're talking about, just the idea of I'm going to approach this question that I have with faith versus doubt. And maybe you could talk a little bit more about how do you find the faith to go forward in that way? If you have a question that you feel is so burdensome to you, how do you get enough faith to go forward in faith?
One of the ground rules, I say, when I'm out with the sisters and I allow them to ask questions, I'll say, your question should be something for which the answer will build somebody else. Mm-hmm. And a question that a friend of yours might also have. So we're not off on some tangential, irrelevant thing. But the answer if we can get the answer to this together, it will help us. So I think we have to set some ground rules for ourselves too. And say, I'll ask questions that will send me on a search through the scriptures, that will send me to the words of the prophets, that will send me to people who I know have faith. Mm-hmm. As I've studied the influence of women upon each other, for girls, for instance, teenage girls, the number one influence is their mother, and the number two influence is their grandmother.
Really?
Mm-hmm. So who is the grandmother in your ward or your setting or your life? Is it your real grandmother, you were born into her family, or is it a grandmother you know? As President Packer taught in his speech about the golden years, he said one of the things we're losing as our aging population dies is their wisdom and experience. Mm-hmm. We need to spend more time, the younger generation, with the older generation because they have learned a lot. They've asked some of these same questions and solved them in their minds through their search. They can lead us to things. That's a resource we don't tap into enough.
My visiting teacher is twice my age. Oh, I'm the luckiest woman in the world to have her be my visiting teacher because she'll listen to me complain and whine and ask questions and how do I parent, and then she'll just give me the most amazing, simple
settled
answer. Yes, of you'll understand when your children are all grown and you have your grandchildren, and this is what I would tell you to do. And it's so comforting that you wouldn't get from my girlfriend that's in the same place that I am.
Well, you agitate. Sometimes if we're talking to people only with our experience and our age, then we agitate something and don't get to a solution, whereas someone else might have the perspective.